She pointed at him and laughed. Right there in the middle of the gym, in front of everyone. You? Really? You want to spar with me? She was a third-degree black belt. Tournament champion. The kind of woman who had trophies stacked floor to ceiling in her car. She didn't just win competitions. She destroyed people in them. And right now, she was looking at this man like he was a joke someone forgot to laugh at. Marcus, 41 years old, single father of 2, works double shifts at a logistics warehouse to keep the lights on. Showed up to this gym for the first time 3 weeks ago. Quiet, polite, a little rough around the edges. She offered him a bet, $500. Her money against his. 1 round, 3 minutes on the clock. She told her friends it was easy money. But here's what she didn't know. What nobody in that gym knew. Marcus hadn't a low. Marcus hadn't always driven a forklift. Before the warehouse. Before the school runs, and the packed lunches, and the parent-teacher evenings. Marcus spent 12 years doing things most people can't even imagine. Things this country asked him to do in darkness, underwater, in silence. You want to know what happened when that timer started? Stay right there, because what unfolded in the next 3 minutes didn't just change that gym. It changed Marcus's life in a way nobody could have predicted, not even him. Let me tell you who Marcus Webb actually is, because on the surface, Marcus looks like what life does to a man when it hits him hard enough. 41 years old, 6'1", broad shoulders that carry more weight than just muscle. He's got 2 kids, Destiny, who is 9, and little Elijah, who just turned 6. He raises them alone. Has been since their mother walked out 4 years ago. No warning, no explanation. Just gone one morning before anyone woke up. Marcus doesn't talk about that much. He doesn't talk about most things. The guys at the warehouse know him as the one who shows up first and leaves last. The one who covers shifts when nobody else will. Quiet. Dependable. The kind of man who exists in the background of everyone else's story. His daughter Destiny noticed something was wrong about 8 months ago. Not wrong with Marcus. Wrong with Marcus's sleep. He wasn't getting any. She'd come downstairs for water at midnight and find him sitting in the dark at the kitchen table. Just sitting. Eyes open. Somewhere else entirely. She asked him once, "Daddy, where do you go when you look like that?" He didn't have an answer for her. His doctor called it hypervigilance. His therapist, when he finally agreed to see one, called it PTSD. The kind that builds quietly for years until it doesn't. She suggested structured physical activity. Something that used both the body and the mind. Something that gave the nervous system a place to put the energy it couldn't release. Marcus chose a martial arts gym 2 miles from his apartment. He'd done combat fighting in the teams. That's what SEALs call their units. Teams, but that was tactical, not sporting. He figured BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, would give him the structure he needed, without anyone needing to know who he used to be. He introduced himself simply. "I'm Marcus. I'm new to the sport." And that was true. As a sport, Jiu-Jitsu was new to him. Everything else, the grappling, the ground control, the pressure, the stillness under chaos, that had been living in his muscle memory for over a decade. Nobody knew. He didn't tell them, and that's exactly how he liked it. Now enter Jade. Jade Moreno. 29. Third-degree black belt in BJJ. Brown belt in Judo. 2-time regional champion. She teaches 4 classes a week at this very gym and competes nationally. She has 80,000 followers on Instagram. She posts her wins religiously. She is, without question, exceptional at what she does. She is also, the regulars will quietly tell you, a little much, not cruel, not malicious. Just the kind of confident that sometimes spills over into something colder. She'd seen Marcus show up 3 weeks in a row, watched him drill quietly in the corner, and when someone suggested he might want to spar with her for experience, she laughed. "Sure," she said. "Let's make it interesting." The $500 challenge went up on the gym's group chat within the hour. And the thing is, Marcus almost said no. He had $63 in his checking account and 2 kids at home. But Destiny needed new school shoes. The gym cleared a mat in the center. 22 people gathered around. Students, a few coaches, 2 people who had pulled out their phones before it even started. Jade rolled her neck, bounced lightly on her toes. She glanced at her training partner and flashed a grin. She had the posture of someone who already knew how this ended. Marcus stood across from her. Still, no bouncing, no shadow boxing, no performance. He just looked at her the way he looked at everything. Quietly, completely, like he was reading a language most people couldn't even see. The gym owner called it 3 minutes. Tap or time. Jade came in fast. She was good. You have to understand that. She wasn't underestimating him as a tactic. She genuinely believed this was a mismatch. Her first move was a double-leg takedown, textbook, powerful, the kind she'd landed on women 20 pounds heavier than her. Marcus sprawled, clean, instant, like he'd already known it was coming before she moved. The gym made a sound, not cheers, more like a collective inhale. A few people exchanged glances. Jade reset. Faster now. She tried a collar tie, worked for a sweep. Marcus stayed low, shifted his weight, and neutralized it. Not aggressively. Almost gently, like he was managing her, not fighting her. "Stop moving like that," she said through gritted teeth. Not to him, to herself. She attempted a guard pull. He let her take it, and then, calmly, methodically, he began to pass. She tried to recover with a triangle choke. He posture managed it so precisely that her leverage disappeared like smoke. 30 seconds in, nothing had landed, and Marcus hadn't thrown a single offensive move. The gym went fully quiet. Jade came in with a beautiful uchimata, a judo hip throw she'd won tournaments with. It caught Marcus slightly off balance. Slightly. He rolled with it, absorbed the throw, came back to his feet before she could pin him, and took her back in one fluid movement that took less than 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Someone in the back said, "What?" Not a question, just the word. Standing alone. Jade felt it now. That sensation that every fighter eventually encounters when they'd outmatched by someone who knows more than they're showing. It's not pain. It's a dawning, a slow, cold realization that the map you thought you had is wrong. She fought hard. She really did. She scrambled, transitioned, tried every combination she had. But Marcus was always a step ahead, not showing off, not humiliating, just present, completely, terrifyingly present. "Who are you?" she managed between breaths. Marcus said nothing. With 40 seconds left on the clock, he took mount, the dominant position in ground fighting, and he just held it. Controlled her with the minimum pressure necessary, not squeezing, not crushing, just enough that she couldn't move. Like a ceiling that had quietly descended. She pushed. He adjusted. She bridged. He flowed. It was less like fighting and more like watching someone speak a language in a room full of people who only knew 3 words of it. The timer went off. 3 minutes. Jade had not tapped, but she had not landed a single meaningful technique. Not one. The gym erupted, but not in the way anyone expected. Not laughter. Not mockery, something closer to disbelief tipping into awe. Jade sat up on the mat. She was breathing hard. She looked at Marcus, and she said something nobody in that room expected. "Okay, I need to know. For real. What was that?" Marcus sat back on his heels, looked at the mat, looked at her. "Navy SEAL," he said quietly. 12 years. SEAL Team 6, last 4. Jade blinked. "You said you were new to the sport." "I am," Marcus said. "I'm new to jiu-jitsu as a sport. I've been doing what jiu-jitsu is for a long time." The gym owner, a 60-year-old man named Coach Ray, who had been training for 35 alongs, started laughing, not at Jade, not at Marcus, just at the absolute, magnificent honesty of the moment. "Son," he said, still laughing. "That's the most respectful thing I've ever heard anyone say." Jade looked at the $500 she'd already pulled from her wallet. She looked at Marcus. Then she set it on the mat. "That's yours," she said. "You earned it." Marcus shook his head, pushed it back toward her. "Keep it," he said. "I didn't come here for money. After the mat cleared, Jade did something that nobody expected, including herself. She asked Marcus to stay after, not to rematch, not to prove anything. She sat across from him on a bench near the water fountain and she just asked him to talk. He did. He told her about the teams, about deployment after deployment, places he still couldn't name out loud, about the night he lost 2 friends in a firefight, in a country that would never appear in any news. Report about that conflict, about coming home and finding civilian life louder and quieter at the same time, in all the wrong ways. He told her about the kitchen table at midnight, about Destiny's question, about choosing this gym not because he wanted to compete. He said that word like it was from a foreign language, but because he needed somewhere his body remembered how to exist without cost, without mission, without cost. Jade was quiet for a long time. I had you completely wrong, she said finally. Most people do, Marcus said, without bitterness, without performance. That's okay. I'm not really looking to be figured out. What happened next is the part that hits hardest. Jade took out her phone, opened her Instagram, and right there, in front of Marcus, she posted a video she'd had one of the gym members record, the full 3-minute session, with a caption that read, "I got humbled today, and I needed it. This man is a Navy SEAL, a single father, and the most composed human being I have ever shared a mat with. If you want to talk about what strength actually looks like, here it is." It was up for 30 minutes before it started going viral. By the time Marcus drove home, the video had 200,000 views. He didn't know. He walked in the door, kicked off his boots, and started making dinner. Destiny ran in from the living room and handed him her feet. "New shoes, please." And he looked at those worn-out sneakers and thought about the $500 he'd turned down. Then his phone lit up. He didn't recognize what was happening at first. The messages, the comments, strangers saying thank you, veterans messaging him their own stories, a reporter from a national outlet asking for an interview. He sat down on the kitchen floor, just sat down right there, and held his phone and didn't move for a long time. Destiny walked in, looked at her father, sat down next to him on the floor. "Daddy, where do you go when you look like that?" This time, he had an answer. "Nowhere," he said. "I'm right here." After everything Marcus walked through, 12 years of service, 4 years of raising 2 children alone, midnight hours at the kitchen table, and one 3-minute moment on a mat that cracked him open to the world, what stays with me is that question. Where do you go when you look like that? So I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly in the comments. Have you ever underestimated someone, or been underestimated yourself, in a way that completely changed how you saw them? Tell me what happened. The best stories always come from real people living real lives, and this community has some of the best. If stories like this one, stories about strength you'd never see coming, about humans choosing grace over ego, if those are the kind of stories that belong in your day, then hit subscribe, because we find these moments every single week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Speaking of which, next time, we go inside the story of a homeless man who sat down at a public piano in a train station. What happened in the next 4 minutes stopped an entire city in its tracks. That one's coming soon. Take care of each other. You never know whose kitchen floor moment you're standing in the middle of.